necessarily to what extent. Currently, we do have a Facebook account where we only post, pertinent information like meeting notices. We don't interact, so we don't respond. We don't allow comments on the page. We don't respond to comments. We don't respond to comments on other people's pages. People are entitled to their First Amendment right to say what they like. On occasion, we do get useful information from social media as far as if people are having some sort of actual problem. However, the district does not have an active social media presence, and it was brought up that might be something that needs to be brought forward and started. So at this point, we need to get a consensus on what direction the district wants, or the board wants to go, whether we want to participate or not. Essentially, participating at any significant level would require probably bringing somebody on that is versed in that. I myself do not partake in social media. But given the intricacies of it, if we were to do more than one platform, I don't think that we would have the staff time available to monitor that, post things on that, and respond to that.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Collins?
So there's a couple of things actually, or at least originally, and that is we have Scott Chief Young, who attends the advisory council meetings, and he gives his report, and I thank you for going to those meetings and giving a report. We do not have a district person that goes to those meetings, gives a report on specific things that are happening in the community, good, bad, or take feedback. I mean, I guess Keith, you could get up with your, fire, and I don't know how that works out between the two different, departments, in essence. The other thing also is just making sure that, when we hear comments and feedback that come from social media, being able to, just talk about the things that the district is doing, the positive things, the transparency certification, or like Scott meant, put out a press release about us getting a grant. Those are positive things. People don't hear those things. That's kind of what I was thinking. So I don't know if that's like a public information officer who kind of comes in, just does like little blurbs like that, or what the deal is. But our staff works very hard. There are issues that do pop up, and they should be addressed. So the community also feels like they're being listened to.
So I don't know that there is really such a need as responding to comments. I think not allowing the comments.
Not the comments, but just like having, talking about,
Yeah, just posting.
Posting, like some of those the grants, things like that. Or at least, taking that feedback and, if there are issues that do pop up.
Are you, if you're not doing that, then there's not monitoring. You're just posting. Which we're not doing that right now. We're not posting to Facebook.
So we do have a Facebook account for the district, and we do post the meeting, that we are having meetings.
Oh, we post our business and not like the us on the back, kind of the stuff that's progressing, or pictures of the wastewater plant, or the, well, I guess that's Scott thing right down there, but yes, things that are happening. Or why is there a big hole in the middle of the street? And then you kind of talk about that. Yeah, I get that, and that would be very nice. But no comments. I would say that that's not really necessary. Is that more of a Facebook thing, or is that a website thing?
So we do post a lot of things on the website. Tamara tells me a lot of people visit the website. I don't really know how real that is, but
yeah, they're just bots.
you never know.
About 17,000 or more.
Really?
I don't know.
That's cool.
I'm surprised how much.
17,000 a month.
Yeah, it's surprising on YouTube too, how many people watch the videos, or else it just goes to that video next or something, like,
Oh,
yeah,
We've got one guy in Africa who watches
I don't know.
So we only have a Facebook account. We don't have Twitter or Instagram or whatever else there is out there.
It's no more Twitter.
It's
it's X.
Whatever. We don't have X.
I don't do that either, but I know that.
So really the direction would be whether or not you want to branch out to other forms of social media. It sounds like there's not a high interest for responding to things, but just putting more information out there, which putting more information out would be simpler. Managing relevant information across multiple platforms obviously takes more time.
I will tell you that it is difficult when you get somebody from outside of the organization to know just what to post and everything, especially if it's more of a, sharing progress on a project or something that happens in the community. That's been my experience with my own company, and it's difficult. But
I agree it could be difficult, but I do think just with how everything has been in general, that having someone who's kind of neutral might be a good starting point, for our district,
there's that too.
So then there's no comments about, oh, well, this person is so and so. And like, no, this person is an outside observer providing information to the district without any, they're doing this because that's their job. And also making sure, I do really think that someone should be, from our district staff, attending the advisory council meeting, giving a report of what happens. I mean, Dale Hamlin used to do it years ago, But I just, getting that information out there. And then also that could be, when you take certain feedback, if the advisory council has like certain questions or other things about, why is there a hole, a hole in the middle of, Mission Street, those things again. Because otherwise people will speculate that, we didn't maintain a water line and there's a sinkhole now, or whatever fun stuff that happens. So that's what I'm thinking.
I'm against it. Other than what you already have, and no posting. Some people can't be responsible with these sites. Ends up being a big bitch session. So I'm not for that. People get on there. I know I was on a site, I still am. Historical Society in Paso Robles, and the Paso Robles Laundry was on Pine Street, and it was there since 1919. And then I had people calling me a liar and all kinds of stuff online. It was my family's. So I tried to say, hey, it was my family's, So I was a body shop. So I don't want to get into those kind of conversations. There's just not any reason for it. And so I think for general information like Facebook, or if you've got something you want to post to something without having a bunch of, 1,000 people or 30,000 people chime in, and use it to attack people in the district or employees or even this board.
I totally agree with that. That's kind of what I'm, just like information,
Just that'd be what I'd have to say. Director Baker, you have anything?
There's also the San Miguel community page, right? We just wanted to post information.
It's not anything to do with us.
I know. But if you wanted to, that thing, I don't know.
I won't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Okay. So if you don't want to know anything about what's going on in this town, it seems, I've never looked at it.
I don't either.
But my wife, if there's like smoke somewhere, she can, it's on there in a minute. It's just because if you wanted to get information out for people to see, they'd see it there.
So there's, in my experience, keep in mind, I try to stay as far away from social media as possible. But what I have seen on social media, especially from the San Miguel neighborhood page, is there's a lot of misinformation.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
And there's a lot of tangents. Somebody will post something factual, and then somebody will do just like the Director Smiley expressed. They'll take it to a negative place or somewhere altogether different.
Yeah.
And take something that may have been positive and throw it in the gutter. So there's a lot of ways it can go really bad. There is the getting things out there so people can kind of see what's going on, and I can understand that. But having comments is...
Well, it sounds like we get a lot of hits on our Facebook.
Our webpage. It's our webpage.
Okay, yeah, so.
Because
yeah,
really, all our
covered.
thing has been so far is directing, like I tell you guys, direct them to our webpage. And at least if it's on our Facebook, you know it's coming from us
You
or
know,
somebody.
one of the things that had been brought up, I feel like a dinosaur now, but it's been brought up over the years, was a community website. Because we used to have that on the Discover San Miguel page, where the nonprofits could post, or the district could post good, positive news. It was like little, those things. I remember that, those weren't comments, feedback, it was very, I don't know where.
You're retiring.
I have a board comment about that. And my colleagues were saying, what should I say in that board comment?
President, I have a comment if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
The fire department's perspective, it's a slippery slope. We deal with confidential information and putting things out there, just informational, you saying, hey, there was a fire over here, could lead us down a path where we don't want to go because there's information about certain situations that we can't divulge. And to the point of people take things and run with it, you could take something like that, you could run with it in either a positive or negative direction, who knows where it's going to end up. The amount of time that it takes to monitor and try to participate in that is something that, is hard to come by. We have our San Miguel Firefighters Association page. We try to keep it very limited. It's informational only. This is like kind of what we're doing. And it's hard to rein in the desire to participate in comments when people, have misinformation or they want information, or, you're getting things that are not really palatable and you don't want to go down that path. So I think for the fire department, the liability is very high and our responsibility would be very high and our staffing is very low. And I've been on the receiving end of some very misinformed comments that were attacking my own person.
Right.
And I didn't appreciate it. And what can I do as a public employee? Can I lash out like I would like to? No, I cannot. I have to mind my P's and Q's and take the punches like, Muhammad Ali used to treat me how to learn how to rope-a-dope in the corner, if y'all remember that. Just taking the punches and biting my tongue. So it puts staff in a compromised position because we cannot respond as we would as a normal citizen. Well, normal citizens have the ability to say whatever they choose to us. That's just my word of caution.
Absolutely.
Director Davis?
No, I don't. I think the fire department, I see your posts on there. You do a good job.
We try, thank you.
Yeah.
Public comment. What?
Read the post. I posted the idea of this on the San Miguel page about 2.5 months ago, I think it was. And I got a very negative response. And I've seen a lot of the discussions on that page about the misguided, misinformed, and the bullying that goes along with it. And it's a double-edged sword. You're all talking about all the negative things that are going to be said, and the fact of the matter is we should appear in a very positive manner to our public and not be disliked. If the community dislikes their C.S.D., it doesn't go well. And right now, you guys are not very well liked because of all the misinformation. One thing I know is if you allow staff to read the comments, they'd be subject to bullying. And if you're making it a part of their job, there's all kinds of backlash to that. But if you had somebody that coordinated, where somebody asks a question, like I've seen so many times an individual saying, well, just go down to the C.S.D. and ask, they'll tell you. But you come to these meetings and you can't answer questions. So they don't get your answers. If people were allowed to post a question, and that question is delivered to staff for a short comment, you just take that, transcribe it to the website, and get the information out, and now you don't have this community all thinking that you're doing bad things and ripping them off, and because that's, right now, that's really much, that's the era of what's going on right now. I think it could be done, but you'd have to come up with a plan on how you would cushion staff from the comments. And, if they want to go on and read it, then it's on them. But it could be done, it's a slippery slope.
But we go big with transparency.
I don't want to keep saying that. Look at that. I don't do social media. I don't, I take the time out of my day to come here to your meetings, to give you the facts, and give you documentation and different things that I feel are relevant, that are going to benefit your community and stuff. And I'm willing to do that. I don't need to type it on a thing. I don't care what people say on that stuff anyway. That's their problem, because they don't have the nerve to come down here and say it to your face. Or at least in my face, because it's probably down here somewhere. But, no, I think you're just, our whole deal when I was a fireman, you do not bring discredit to our agency. Nobody is allowed to do anything to bring discredit to, in my case, the uniform and the badge that I protected and worked for the people of the city of Los Angeles. And I wasn't there to get involved in that stuff. I was there to serve them, protect them, and take care of their needs. And that was the end of it. The rest of it didn't matter. And thank you all for your service.
I still stand against it.
So, first, I did want to say, actually, I'm going to miss you, Craig. Actually, I am.
You can still come over.
I'm giving his address.
You can come to the meeting.
I mean, it'll be a bonfire. Also, I do want to say, I understand President Smiley's standpoint about how things can spiral completely out of control. I think that, and we've seen that happen. And I also do think that having staff trying to read that stuff is not fair to them. I don't think I've heard of what's gone on. I'm a millennial, and I've actually given up social media except for messaging my family, which it makes me smile more often. My demeanor has improved significantly. But I also do agree with John about the fact that, there should be some form, that's kind of independent. I don't know, maybe, I feel like a dinosaur. John, we used to talk about the district newsletter, things like that, even a quarterly thing, something that's low cost, doesn't take a lot of people's time, just that this is what's going on, it's just whatever. I want to talk about the good things that are happening. I mean, it's easy for people to talk about bad things, so I just think that's unfortunate. But I don't know what other options to do, or even if we just keep it down to someone attends the advisory council meeting and gives a report. That would be.
We don't have to have any action on this time. We're just discussing it, so let's go ahead and draw that to a close. And I want to, at this time, adjourn to the San Diego Community Services District Groundwater Sustainability Agency.
Fine.
9:06.
Oh, that's right, John does not like that gavel.
Really?
I was asked to put that on.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I need it.
Yeah.
Turn it down now. Okay. Report action items.
Board action items, update from past rules, Cooperative Committee, 20th, 2024, regular meeting.
Yeah, we had a meeting last night.
So you're up.
Yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
So there is a Paso Basin Town Hall on December 16th. It's at the Culinary Arts Academy, which is on Golden Hill. Starts at 6 p.m. And it should be pretty interesting. So I would encourage anyone that's interested in the groundwater situation, show up, because there's all sorts of... So at the meeting yesterday afternoon, they discussed one thing was their blended water program they wanted to get into, which is about an $81 million project. And figured out what the cost of water is going to be. That's just for the the capital. So that's about $1,200 per acre foot, not counting any water. So at the next meeting on the 16th at 2 o'clock they're going to talk about a rate study. So I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with that. And one interesting thing was the Australia El Palmar Creston Water District. They did not like that last budget that the district, or that came through with like $45 million over the 5 years. I think we talked about it in September meeting. So that was interesting to me that all those guys out there that what Greg would call a phony water district, and I think I would agree, didn't like to have to pay that kind of money, because that's where it's going to come from. And then all this $81 million is going to come out of somebody's pocket if they want to continue with this. And it's just, this thing has been fascinating. I know Greg's probably got some comments on it, so I'll stop for now and wait for public comment.
Okay. Board comment
Or board comment.
Director Calvin's.
You're having a meeting at the Culinary Arts Academy during dinner time, and you're not providing dinner.
Get snacks.
That's refreshments.
If you go to the town hall meeting, then there are refreshments. And talking to Dr. Reilly, he says there's probably not enough for 500 people, so if you want to show up early and get your food, then you might want to get there at 5:30.
I don't know, have you seen their walk-in ovens?
I was there last night.
Yeah, they're amazing.
So I do have a question though for Director Baker. With the EPC being opposed to the budget, what's going to happen? I mean, obviously the nation doesn't really need their vote to move forward with that budget. But what is the strategic outlook? What's going to happen?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
That's the end of his report. I have no idea.
What's going to happen, because that budget was not for next year, it was going out. So then we have the budget for next year, but it was going out when they're really going to start. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, because if you're talking about an $81 million, project that they're going to have to finance, and they're looking for, $5 million coming from the community as part of that to cover the cost. Yeah, it's pretty wild what they're doing, because they got the grant money they got to spend by next April, that they're hustling to get the projects that they have, which I don't know why they haven't got them done yet, but like get the well monitoring deal, like Greg was on that committee, like, I don't know, a couple of years ago, came in with recommendations, and I don't get it, why everything's taking so long, and what they're really doing to improve, the groundwater situation in the basin. There's one lady that showed up, it was, really sad situation where her wells went dry, and she's been, now it's like over 60 grand to dig a new well, and they really can't afford it, so they're borrowing the money to dig the well. Now they're going to have to sell their house and get the heck out of here. But the people that caused the situation are just skating on this deal and using, I think, this agency to get things done for them. And it's I don't know, it just seems that it's this huge money grab. And it's not, you know, it's not helping the people. There should be a fund to help people that have their wells gone dry, because, you know, her well works in the winter time as soon as the vineyards start pumping. She's got nothing. It sounds like she had a really nice home, nice landscaping and a pool, and there was a retirement place where they moved, and now it's just a barren wasteland. It's really tragic. But anyway, just the overdraft of the basin, and I think a greedy county government, and letting people, you know, put wells in, like Greg was saying, and we had a big drought, and they're letting, still, you know, during the drought, there was wells going all over around where I live, up on the terrace where Laura was putting them in. It was just, I don't know, it's ridiculous, but something needs to happen. But maybe this whole downturn in the wine industry will cause a reduction in acreage. We'll see, but yeah, it's I would go to the town hall and, you know, speak your piece and let people know, and just to get informed about it. It's really been an education for me. It really has. But the PCBB or whatever, Paso Basin CC, a lot of the stuff that comes before us is really already been decided. You know, it's like, well, staff talked about it, and, you know, it's like, oh, well, so there's a staff group, and then we don't really talk about that much. So we should kind of get information, so we should can vote as a board. We have on a couple things, but, you know, as a board, what we like or don't like, and that doesn't really seem to happen. It doesn't function right. So they have a meeting, and then boom, we have a meeting. Typically it's, you know, one day after, and then we're reporting what happened, but we don't know, we can't talk about what's gonna happen and how we really feel about it. So it's, again, like kind of a cart before the horse in a lot of ways. But it's yeah, it's been an interesting experience. And,
I'm sure the committee's going to miss you.
I don't think so.
Anybody have a comment?
I did have one last comment, Mr. President, if I may. Has anything changed since 2013?
Yeah. Everybody has less money.
And the reason why I say that is I'm literally hearing the same garbage I heard in 2013. Same problem, same issues, same players.
So, in my opinion, not a lot has been accomplished since 2013. A lot of things have gotten started, and a lot of things have sort of moved, but nothing has really been, I mean, not that I guess we can expect anything to be really solved in 10 years, but not a lot has really been accomplished. And that really, in, again, my opinion, is a function of how the PBCC is designed and the inefficiencies there are in trying to have multiple agencies work in a cooperative fashion without any cooperative authority, more or less. So you're asking one agency to do a lot of work on top of their other work, so it's not a priority. So things don't get pushed along. That's part of the reason I was very adamant about us not taking on anything for the PBCC, because we don't have time for it, and we can, you know, just several months ago, we applied for a grant and got a grant and have already received the equipment to do well monitoring within the district. So, you know, it took them 2 years to establish a list of people. So there's a lot of inefficiencies. Hopefully going forward, the format changes of the PBCC and things can be more efficient and things can move better, but it is still the government, so you know, take that as it may.
Say that? No comment. Me too. Director Davis?
No, I don't have any.
I just have one comment. I have relatives that have had a ranch down since 1889 down in the Templeton area. And they sold off and moved out. Got tired of fighting it. wells going dry, so on and so forth. So I hope there is gonna be something in the future for, you know, little old ladies living in her house, and that's all she's got. She can't afford to sink down another well. She has to sell her property because of it, because a vineyard next door has some wells very deep. And I forget the name of the company, but the guy that took down all the oak trees and cleared the land down there. Yeah, that was right next to my cousin's property. That was right next to my cousin's property. And he was throwing a fit over that. And nobody would listen to him, you know. And he was actually at one point having to bring a tanker in and supply water to his house.
That's what this lady had to do also.
Yeah. So I feel bad for those people. I've known people that have a house that's drive water and they're running water from other people's house to have deeper wells so that they can try to stay alive in the summertime. So I hope that there's something in the future. And I'm not particularly for all this, but public comment.
Oh, yeah.
The last for the best.
You need a drum roll too?
Thank you. Well, if you look at some of the stuff that's on here that they say that they are working on or done, we talked about rates for a water district. That was voted down by almost 80%. It was called AB 2453. These same people were involved, which they've been involved since 2005. They started off as the prior agreement, then they turned into the Prags group, then they split into the two fake water districts that are in violation of the water code. State doesn't care. This group doesn't care. The people they funded to take over the basin, Supervisor Dixon doesn't care because he got what he wanted. And we had, within a few meetings, we had dialed in 130 wells that they could get contact the people. We have the names, addresses, everything, because just all you gotta do is look at the county's well replacement list, and you know exactly where the problem is. There's 5 areas, and then you look what's around them, and you look how they were at 300 feet deep or 250 feet deep, and now they're at 800 feet deep. And those areas are the areas that are impacted with these guys around them, and like you said, they're not doing anything to help them. So they hired a consultant to take the names that we already had to go talk to the people to see if they could sign them up. Instead of people that know them and have a town hall with these people and just invite them, say, hey, and then they want to have a 99-year contract with them to get the information. But the two fake water districts have their information, but it's not for anybody's consumption. They claim and they put it in a report, well, here's what's going on, but there's no verification. It's just what they want everybody to do. And now that they've been living off grant money this whole time. Everything's been grant money. They haven't had to put out anything. They hired an attorney. They're working with an attorney law firm right now on a JPA to get you guys to sign up on a joint powers agreement. Well, Mr. Baker was talking about the $81 to $85 million. That's for either 10 customers or 36 customers to divide that up. Just the infrastructure, not even